So a question we've been asked a lot this week is, will the bank still refinance my loan with everything happening in the news with the coronavirus? So today we're here to answer that question.
Yeah, and really we're going to go through the tips on, is it a good idea to refinance your home loan during the coronavirus outbreak?
Let's dive right in.
Listen, this is a pretty serious topic, and the reality is it's a 1 in 100 year pandemic event. So it's not like this is going to happen a lot, but it is worth being a bit prepared. And if you've got a home loan, you might have seen in the media lately, some banks are advertising even taking a 6-month repayment holiday. But in amongst that, is now a good time to refinance your home loan?
So the two things we wanted to go through today are, what are the benefits of refinancing now? And secondly is when you need to act. So starting off with the top, what are the benefits with refinancing your loan now?
Yeah, so first and foremost, it might allow you to release a bit of equity. Now, you've seen in the news a bit that the banks are allowing homeowners to suspend their home loan repayments for up to 6 months, which is great, but it's still going to add the interest on top of the loan, and you'll end up paying more over the life of the loan. Other thing you could do is use equity from your property. So you can pull it out and just build a bit of a cash buffer there just in case you need it in the next little while.
The second is to consolidate debt. So any credit card that you might have, or even personal loan, Afterpay, things like that, you can bundle it up. If you've got enough equity, you can put it into your home loan.
Now, just be careful with this. We did a video on this a couple of weeks ago on consolidating debt. This can end up costing you way more, because instead of having a car loan over 5 years, you put it onto a home loan which goes over 30 years. So make sure you get your mortgage broker to do the numbers to ensure you're not paying more. Yeah, the third reason why you'd refinance is to get a lower rate. Now, you'd see stuff advertised on this all the time, but the reality is, if you've had your home loan for more than 3 years, the banks probably don't have you on the sharpest rate. They tend to give better rates to their newer customers and slowly edge up the rates of their existing customers. So get your mortgage broker to review it, because it could just help you reduce your payments by $50 or $100 a week, which can just make a big difference in your life.
The last one is that some lenders are offering up to $4,000 cash rebate to refinance at the moment, which covers all your costs, plus keeps a little bit left over.
Yeah, they literally put $4,000 in your account 30 days after settlement that you've refinanced your home loan. So it's a pretty good one. It still does cost money to refinance, usually about $800-900, but you're still up $3,100 in that case. All right, now, so that's why you might refinance, but why is it important to act kind of now and be a bit quick on it rather than wait a little bit and see if it's going to run its course?
Well, if the market sentiment deteriorates, the valuers will start to undervalue your property, which means that you're not going to have as much equity there that you can use to refinance. So acting now is important.
When your property gets valued by the banks, the valuer is generally looking at sales that have occurred over the last 3 months. And the start of 2020, bushfires and all that stuff aside, has actually been pretty good for the property market. So your property value might be pretty good. Whereas if you wait 3 months, they're going to be looking at the sales that are sort of happening forward. And looking at auction clearance rates, stuff is slowing down a little bit. So if you act sooner, the value is going to be a bit more positive and you might get a better valuation on your property.
And further to this point is that the banks lend based on their risk. So if you have a higher valuation, you can be considered a lower risk and potentially unlock lower rates for yourself.
The second point there on valuations, Nathan, which we're starting to hear, is that the banks may, if things get really bad, refuse to visit properties. So if there's a lockdown and the valuer has to physically inspect your property, they might not be able to get in. Or if you're sick, the valuer can actually say, I don't want to go there. So there could be some stuff like that we're not really sure what's going to happen, but the sooner you get the valuation done, at least you know what the figure's going to be.
Now, not all banks need physical valuations to the property, so some of them do online assessments or drive-bys, but this is more in the case where they actually need to physically go through the property and look through.
The next reason why you might want to act sooner rather than later is that a lot of the banks, especially over the last week, have started to ask their staff to work from home. So what we've been seeing is a really big slowdown in how quickly things are moving through the banking system, and your application could get really delayed. So to further that point, the banks are also reprioritizing how they're looking at applications. So if you're buying a new house and there's deadlines you've got to settle, they're putting that in front of pre-approvals and definitely in front of refinances. So if you're looking at refinancing and you want to get it done sooner rather than later, then now might be the time to act.
And the last one is, some lenders require face-to-face meetings to identify borrowers. So if this changes and the government does lock things down and you can't get identified, well, that means your application can't proceed.
Yeah, so interestingly, St. George and Westpac have come through in the last few weeks and said, well, we're going to relax some of these rules. You just need certified ID, you can do Skype. And even ANZ, who previously were really strict and you had to meet face-to-face, have relaxed some of their measures. So things are changing, but there's still lenders that require you to meet face to face. And if that's not possible, if things get locked down, you might not be able to refinance.
So that's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up at huntergalloway.com.au. And as always, thanks for watching.